throughout the meeting, which will become part of the official record. Executive Officer, good morning, and will you please call the agenda?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Today's agenda will begin on page 2. That matter 1 is a report by the Chief Executive Officer and appropriate department heads as necessary on the status of the American Rescue Plan funding and consideration of necessary action. That matter 2 is a discussion and consideration of necessary actions on the public health order related to COVID-19 and the status of COVID-19 vaccine. These items will be held for hearing. On page 3, public hearing items 3 to 5. On item 5, the Acton County Council requests that this item be continued to June 28, 2022. Items 3 and 4 will be held for hearing. On page 5, consent calendar, Board of Supervisors, items 6 through 44. On item 6, this includes a revision as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On items 7, 8, and 9, Supervisor Solis requests that these items be held. On item 12, Supervisor Mitchell requests that this item be referred back to her office. On item 27, Supervisor Keel and Supervisor Mitchell request that this item be held. Also, this includes a revision as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 30, Supervisor Hahn revised her motion to add Supervisor Solis as a co-author. On item 31, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. Also, this includes a revision as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On items 37 and 39, Supervisor Barter requests that these items be held. On page 29, administrative matters, items 45 through 81. On item 45, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. On item 58, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. On item 64, the Chief Probation Officer requests that this item be continued to June 14, 2022. On page 51, this includes miscellaneous additions to the agenda, which were posted more than 72 hours in advance of the meeting, as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 79G, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. On page 52, ordinance for introductions, items 82 and 83. On page 53, separate matter, item 84 is a recommendation to adopt a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of the 2022-2023 tax and revenue anticipation notes in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1 billion. On page 54, special district agenda. This is the agenda for the Board of Directors of Sanitation District number 27 in the New Hall Rand Sanitation District of the County of Los Angeles. Item SD1 will be held for hearing. On page 55, this is the agenda for the Los Angeles County Development Authority. On page 58, this is the agenda for the Regional Finance Authority. The requests for referred backs or continuances through 1R are before you.
Moved by Supervisor Solis, seconded by Supervisor Kuehl to approve these items. Such will be the order.
On page 59, notices of closed session. Items CS2 and CS3 are additions as indicated on the supplemental agenda. That completes the reading of the agenda, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Moving on to public comment again for regular agenda items. We'll now take public comment for all agenda items, excluding public hearing items 3 through 5 and SD1. Again, this is for regular agenda items, excluding hearing items 3 through 5 and SD1. Executive Officer, please read the call-in information that was also provided on the agenda and explain the speaking rules to those members of the public who choose to address the board.
As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 877-226-8163 and use participant code number 133-6503. To repeat, please call 877-226-8163 and use participant code number 133-6503. Do not call that number if you only want to listen to the meeting. To listen only, please call 877-873-8017 and follow the instructions. To members of the public calling in, when it's your turn to speak, please state your name and which agenda items you wish to speak on. we will allocate 90 minutes for public comment on all of the regular items except public hearing items 3 through 5 and SD1, which have a separate call-in number and will be heard at approximately 11:15 a.m. For all regular agenda items, you have 1 minute to speak on one agenda item or 2 minutes to speak on 2 or more agenda items. In addition, those who would like to address the board with general public comment will be provided 1 additional minute for a maximum total up to 3 minutes per speaker. We will continue to accept all written comments that come in during the meeting, which will become part of the record. When speaking on an agenda item, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not speaking on a topic, or if we cannot tell if you're speaking on an agenda item, you will get 1 warning from County Council or the Chair. If you do not immediately or clearly get on topic, or if you stray off topic again, you will forfeit the rest of your time and the Chair will move to the next speaker. Please note that if you're also listening to the board meeting on a computer or speakerphone, you will need to turn down the volume on those devices as soon as the moderator calls on you. If you do not turn down the volume, there will be an echo. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Gabriel Rodriquez. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, esteemed supervisors. My name is Gabriel Rodriquez, and I'm COO of ALMA. I'm speaking in strong support of items 9 and item 55. On item 9, I would strongly support Supervisor Solis' motion for Los Angeles County to put together a coordinated effort to address the social determinants of health. We thank Supervisor Solis for her leadership in this motion. As you know, where you live, learn, work, and play affect your overall health, your mental health, and even your life expectancy, as demonstrated by research, including Melix and Reed's study in 2020. As an example, throughout the pandemic, we have seen how high areas of poverty, lacking housing stability, had worse outcomes from COVID. And as we strategize recovery efforts, it's critical to prioritize social determinants of health. This motion will bring together county departments and community to put together an assessment regarding current efforts while creating a roadmap to address this gap. Please approve this motion. We also ask for the approval of item 55. Since August of 2018, ALMA has led a coalition of CBOs, which includes the East LA Women's Center, Neighborhood Legal Services, Humphreys, Inc., Maternal and Child Health Access, and the Wellness Center at the Historic General Hospital, under an Innovation 2 grant serving Boyle Heights, East LA, and surrounding communities. This project has enhanced the capacity and resilience of community members so they can not only cope with, but overcome trauma. These are seniors, parents of small children, homeless youth, and other marginalized and hard-to-reach community members. Our coalition provides ongoing support groups, grief circles, and many other opportunities for individuals to find sources of hope amid personal and community hardship. Throughout the pandemic, we also distributed over 15,000 PPE items, 21,000 warm meals, led housing and mental health initiatives, and recruited 15 community ambassadors who are serving as credible messengers. This is why we respectfully ask that you approve the renewal of Innovation 2 programs as recommended by LACDMH. And please approve it without delay, as any disruption to continue services will damper the COVID recovery efforts, which have been a lifeline for entire communities. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Preven. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Okay, thanks. There's 90 or something items, so it's going to be very hard to do all of the work, but I would like to address several items. Certainly, I'd like to applaud the board for addressing the cost of litigation once again. This is an important detail, especially because the Board of Supervisors Sheila's coming near the end of her 2 terms. She's been a great progressive icon and leader, yet the litigation problems have really been worrisome. Not just with Skip Miller, the private attorney from a law firm in town, taking enormous fees legal floor on the 6th floor in County Hall. She's just been there forever, and so is going to roll everything forward. Now they're looking at slightly perkier numbers because all the courts were shut, but this is an absolute exit parachute for Sheila and Mr. Castro Silva and presumably Skip eventually. Well, I think the public is really losing, confidence in the idea that Skip Miller can decide whether or not the county is doing a good job on homelessness and then make pronouncements in federal court. The city is now suing the county under this great tenure, which is just incredibly embarrassing. We're not suing them, but, there's a legal settlement. The city is settling with the court. The county is endlessly congratulating one another on all the housing they've been doing as the homeless crisis, a national disgrace, spins out of control. And the local politicians all rally around the victim blamer, the victim blamer, Eric Garcetti, who is ready to push back. Tilda Solis has done so much to support this man who looked away in broad daylight as the entire region of Angelenos noticed this embarrassing rape-like behavior of people's capacity to work in a public setting in City Hall of Los Angeles. And these helpers from Peace Over Violence and everywhere did nothing. They all looked away because he was the rainmaker. He was the rainmaker, Rick Jacobs. He's the guy who get all the money, and Eric Garcetti went around the country raising a huge amount of money. And I'm a Democrat, but we don't support sending a man who looked away over and over again and lied and then stained 50 Angelenos who all swore under oath that he knew by saying, no, let's get me over to India and quick. Let's turn it into a partisan issue. That'll be helpful. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And the lawyers who worked on that project for $100,000 ought to donate that money back. Right now. Donate the money back that the city paid out for you to cover up this egregious behavior. And my heart goes out to Dan Schauman and Carolyn Kubata, who have been dragged into this mess by the Board of Supervisors who are so shameful.
The time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please? Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Julie Martinez. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I will be addressing, I'm in support of item 9 and item 10, and I will be speaking in support, on general comment. I am a resident of District 5, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. I wanted to address, as part of my general comment, that I understand that the board has stated it's committed to realize the Care First vision for the county. However, the proposed budget for 2023 truly does not reflect the commitment that for Care First that we in the community do want. The county intends to increase the LA Sheriff Department's budget, and notably the LASC's personal budget. The county proposes a $6.2 billion allotment for law and justice officers, with more than half of its funding being used for LA County Sheriff Department and the probation. The county is spending so much money jailing our communities. Over 60% of LASC's budget is spent on patrol and custody personnel. When the county chooses to continue to pour money into LASC's bloated budget, they are choosing funding the machine of mass incarceration. $3.4 billion to the LA Sheriff Department is not a Care First priority. Does not demonstrate a Care First priority. $3.4 billion to the Sheriff's Department and $2.8 million for affordable housing and homelessness. What does this comparison say about the county's priorities? Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Dr. Wilma Franco. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, supervisors, and thank you for the time to speak this morning. I will be speaking on item 9 and general comment. My name is Dr. Wilma Franco. I am the Executive Director of the Southeast LA Collaborative and a resident of District 2. And this morning I'm calling today to support Supervisor Solis's motion for LA County to put together a coordinated effort to address the social determinants of health. Research has shown for many years now that an individual's zip code impacts their quality of life, and this in itself is an injustice to our communities. Social determinants are the conditions and the places where people live, learn, work, and play that affect a wide range of health outcomes, including health care. And this is part of the importance of this, right? We've also seen and how the pandemic has impacted our communities that are, have the highest poverty, lack housing stability, or have poor environmental surroundings, like our communities in the Southeast and South LA regions. That's why I ask that you all Supervisor Solis' motion. And I want to also take a moment to just thank Supervisor Solis for her leadership and for her determination to continue to support our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Greg Thompson. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. This is Greg Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of the Personal Assistance Services Council. We handle registry services for IHSS. I'm calling in support of agenda item number 11. Thank you, Supervisor Mitchell and Supervisor Hahn, for putting 4th May as the celebrating the seniors in Los Angeles County and requesting a report from the Department of Public Social Services and the new Department on Aging and Community Services. I encourage this report back to you to include IHSS services and provider shortage crisis that we've been experiencing. I'd also like to publicly thank DPSS for assisting us with the marketing campaign to onboard new IHSS providers. But we still have a lot of work to do to have enough providers for the IHSS recipients. And I'd also like to...
The time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is David Kim. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Kim. I will be speaking on item 31 and general public comments. And I'm also a member of the Reimagine Child Safety Coalition, and also just wanted to thank Supervisor Hahn for listening to our demands for the past 6 months and more. So I'm a former juvenile dependency attorney and will be returning back to the work as well. But it's very important that all of the supervisors really understand the seriousness and gravity of our juvenile dependency system and how it's not working and how we're punishing families for not having the resources that they should have, for punishing families for being poor, for punishing families for not having a support system, and for us to be doing the most evil thing in this world, which is separating families and taking children away from their parents, is something that we can't really allow to continue further. And so we've proposed several demands, and of the demands that I wanted to comment on are there needs to be a moratorium on detentions related to general neglect, parents who have experienced domestic violence, and parents who test positive for drugs during pregnancy and birth. I've personally defended so many parents who were lodged into children's court because they were drug tested without their will and consent. And I was able to have half of those cases where the children returned to their parents because those parents shouldn't have been in court in the first place. Yet their babies were taken away from them, and that's so evil, and I don't think any of that should be condoned and approved by our supervisors as well. There should also be due process rights for these parents. These parents, when they're visited by a social worker, and they're not informed of what their rights are, what they're being talked about to, and these social workers essentially are police, and they bring these parents into court, and these parents have no idea what they're being charged for, representation. And so it's very important that we have parents' rights to pre-petition counsel before this whole process starts. And so for these demands and all the other demands, it would be great if the supervisors could really take some time. If you don't know about the system now I'm earnestly asking you to learn about the system right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
As a reminder to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1, then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you'll be removed from the queue.
Thank you. We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio para dirigirse a la supervisora, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione el 1 y luego el 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y 0 por segunda vez porque será eliminado de la línea.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Genevieve Cleverell. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
I'm speaking item 53. How much more money are we going to spend on CERN? And also, I have grave concerns about basically allowing DHS to have a pool of money that does not require supervision from the board or approval from the board. This really needs to be restocked. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Bricia Gutierrez. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Bricia Gutierrez. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Fellow with the LA Opportunities Collaborative at the Alliance for Children's Rights. I also have lived experience of the foster care system. I'm here to show support for item 40. Thank you, members of the board and Supervisor Barger, for putting forth the motion. Due to a plethora of factors, including lack of support and lack of access to services that meet needs, youth in foster care often have a difficult time finding employment, housing, and getting an education. In addition to those barriers, many youth don't have access to one or more of their vital documents, including their Social Security card, and have an extremely difficult time obtaining their Social Security card. This motion addresses the policies that make it difficult for DCFS staff to help obtain a Social Security card for foster youth. Once again, thank you to the Board of Supervisors, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant will be Leithia Suttle. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Latia Suttle, retired U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer. I will be speaking on agenda item 31 and general public comment. As a member of the Reimagining Child Safety Group, I am the recipient of the 2021 Betty Fisher Award from the Los Angeles County Domestic Violence Council, and I'm also a member of the Reimagining Child Safety Coalition. I have lived experience dealing with DCSF and family court. I am in support of agenda item number 31, but there is so much more to do. I'm still in disbelief of the fact that DCSF nor family court doesn't bother to ask people for their military status, whether it be active duty, veteran, or retiree. Even though there are some services for veterans or retirees provided by the VA, U.S. Vets, and the UCLA Veterans Family Wellness Center, these services and classes are disregarded by the family court. Even though staff from the Veterans Family Wellness Center reaches out to DCSF social workers, their calls and emails go ignored by DCSF social workers. These social workers could care less about family reunification with biological families. Even when there is no abuse from the protective parent, no criminal charges, no substance abuse, DCSF still could care less about family reunification. What a slap in the face after honorably serving your country and retiring from the U.S. military. So there's much more that needs to be done, and the demands that have been submitted need to be taken seriously. And people with lived experience need to be a part of this change. That's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Dina Kelly. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, 31 and general public comments. In favor of 31, and I'll begin with public comments. LA County budget was introduced in a manner that was unfriendly once again to community participation. We need to have the voices of folks who are running the leading organizations in the community be a part of that budgetary process, like CURB, Black Lives Matter, Justice LA, and so many more. I believe that a Care First budget means that investing in and listening to communities that have been forgotten and abandoned, like South and East LA, we have to listen to those folks. Supervisor Barger, I live in your pristine and cozy district where my children attend schools that are rated 9s and 10s, where they eat organic produce and drink alkaline water because we can't afford it. My kids regularly go to the La Crescenta Library where I see your picture on the wall, and every time I see that picture, I can't help but think about the power you have in your hands to create a world. When my students in South LA don't have to live through the nightmare that they experience, they're living in job deserts, food deserts. Their educational experience is a joke, and the underfunding is a joke. Certainly with your investment in the police at $3.6 billion annually and $218 million for housing community members, you're planning to incarcerate our unhoused relatives and not fund housing, which is a fraction, a fragment of the budget that is spent on the police system, which is grossly incarcerating 85% non-violent inmates, 70% foster children, 70% foster children. It shows you in the data, in the stats, it shows you that we are needing to fund communities, specifically East and South LA and underprivileged communities. It's, you know, our our parents are living through joblessness and dirty water and health issues and not having mental health services. We are the only extracurricular activities they have, are nonprofits. And yes, DCFS is falsifying reports day and night on poor black mothers who don't have the same resources that I have, for example, you know, and taking children away. And so Care First means that we honor the overwhelming majority of people who spoke when we passed Measure J, and that we don't have to call back every single week. We have to deal with a couple of...
Our next participant is Pamela Green. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, hi. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm speaking on the general public comment, and I'm actually asking for the $10 million funding be allocated for the codified right to counsel for the LA County low-incorporated and the unincorporated low-income tenants areas of Los Angeles County, in addition to full funding for the State House LA. Also in regards to harassment for landlords and tenants, the need for representation and fair rights in court. And I could say more, but I know I'm timed. So I just wanted to speak on those. Thank you so much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Roy Humphreys. Please state the regular items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Okay, I'll be on items 11, 29, 30, 31, and general public comment on thank you for recognizing the old folks. It's the largest growing population short of those illegally crossing our southern border, but you can blame Trump for that. Supporting the dismantling of the Exide plant wherever you've been. That's a criminal culpability on your part and your predecessors for that particular situation. And for supporting the in-home services, that's a great thing. We needed that. And on 31, the petition for the advocacy for the children, what a joke that is. And until the leadership, this has gone on for decades, until the leadership goes to prison, which they deserve, and you are culpable on this also as a county board of supervisors. You know this has been going on for decades, need to go to jail. Okay, now on the homeless situation, as we already know, $540 million is a drop in the bucket for a minimum $1 billion operation, but you get what you pay for. And thank you, Eric Preven, for your stellar comments on the litigation exposure there. And now for a general comment there, with the transient camps, which you failing this community, and I mean the entire county, on failure to establish the transient camps as noted and by the sheriff on that. And also we need the public toilets so they don't have to relieve themselves anywhere and everywhere as it happens here in Roland Heights. And and also pumping $2 billion a year to organized crime due to the failure to decriminalize prostitution. And we can only hope that the midterms will correct this and put us under the gang of four. And again, the Child Protective Services, those people need to go to prison. And we must recognize Supervisor Solis for going on a campaign rant last week when it was supposed to be about the budget, which is woefully. And how about being truthful with the people and say, if we want to go to the 21st century, what would that budget be? And give the people a chance to vote on that. And I suggest a minimum $60 billion. So get straight with the people. Gee whiz, we haven't got a lot of time to be going on this la-la land projection there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
As a reminder to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time or you'll be removed from the queue.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Cheryl Manuel. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, everyone. This is Cheryl Manuel speaking. I'm with SAGE, the group SAGE, and I'm just going to make a general public comment about the right to counsel. Tenants need the right to counsel and that funding for the right to counsel. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Camilla Alvarado. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin. Pardon me, just a moment, please. Ms. Alvarado, you may begin.
Okay. I'm Dr. Alvarado. I'm a family medicine resident at Harbor UCLA, and a proud member of the Committee of Interns and Residents at CIU. This week, the intern residents and fellow physicians at county hospitals are taking a ULP strike vote because of the bad faith bargaining that is happening between us and the county. As residents, we work up to 80 hours a week and spend any free nights that we have bargaining with the county to ensure a fair contract for all of our residents and fellows. But the representatives from the County of LA have canceled meetings, come unprepared, or have no counter proposals. So we are asking the Board of Supervisors to intervene in negotiations and ensure that we're able to settle a fair contract in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Erica Robles. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. I'm calling for Agenda 55, General Public. We're calling in strong support to the recommendation of the authorization the directors of mental health to excuse the amendment of Innovations 2 contract. Our ambassadors have done a really great job in our community providing workshops, support groups, parenting presentations, and they have also aided our community with difficult times with COVID-19 and linked them to clinics for COVID vaccines, PPE items. So can you please approve the contract for Innovations 2? Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Carlos Montez. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. Let me put my headphones on. I'm sorry, I wasn't ready. My name is Carlos Montes. I'm with Central CSO Community Service Organization here in LA. And I wanted to address public comment and agenda item number 9. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting over a bad allergy. First of all, I wanted to thank Supervisor Hilda Solis for introducing the motion number 9. And I'm calling you all to support and vote for the motion to put together a coordinated effort to address the social determinants of health. When people ask me how do I like living in LA, I said it's great, but I'm dying. We're dying. Our community is dying. Social determinants are the conditions in the places where we live, learn, work, and play that affect a wider range of health outcomes. This includes healthcare access and quality, education access and quality, social community contact, and economic stability like our jobs, and where we live and our community, right? This wide range of factors play a huge role in health outcomes for LA County residents, especially for working class folks like myself, where we live. Closing health disparities means seriously addressing these issues in a comprehensive way. This work is even more important in light of the pandemic. My neighbor died. Several of my friends died in my community, where we saw that communities in areas of high poverty, lacking housing stability, or had poor environmental surroundings had worse outcomes of COVID. We had a higher death rate. That's why I asked that you support Supervisor Hilda Solis' motion. This motion will bring together the county departments and the community to put together an assessment regarding current efforts while creating a roadmap to address any gaps. Thank you very much. And I want to again thank Supervisor Hilda Solis for introducing this motion. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Kruti Parekh. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, good morning. I am commenting on agenda item 1, 2, and 79E. My name is Kruti Parekh, and I'm the coordinator for the Los Angeles Youth Uprising Coalition. My heart is heavier today because of what happened in Buffalo, the massacre that happened in Buffalo because of anti-Blackness. It's compounded because of the comments that Santa Clarita residents have had as it relates to young people that are our young people of color in Los Angeles County as it relates to the probation department. And today I want to ask you all to think, as we are about to birth the Department of Youth Development on July 1st, about the 18-year-old in Buffalo who shot so many people, the grace that he's going to be given. I would like for us to extend that same grace to young people in Los Angeles County. That on July 1st, as the new Department of Youth Development arises, that we surround young people, every young person in Los Angeles County, especially Black young people, centering Black young people, so that they feel the love from the county, so that it's care first and jails last. Congratulations to you all for the Director of Youth Development for the department that's launched on Friday. Super excited. If anyone on this call feels like you love young people, you believe in their growth, you have unlimited patience, you've mastered accountability as an act of radical love, please apply to this position. As it relates to the ordinance, which is 79E, please make sure that the vision of the new Department of Youth Development is real. Please look to the Youth Justice Reimagined report and the youth statement in particular to guide and make sure that the heart of it is in this ordinance. Please make sure that all legislative changes happen and that it's very, very clearly articulated, so when the legislative changes happen, so that all young people get to be removed.
Can we have the next speaker, please?
Our Our next participant is Liza Davis. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. I'm speaking on item 31 in general public comment. My name is Lisa Davis, and I am an attorney with the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles. As an attorney at Legal Aid, I staff domestic violence clinics in courts throughout Los Angeles County. Almost every time I meet and assist a victim of domestic violence who has recently suffered abuse and is also now distraught because as a victim, they're under threat or in fear of losing their children to DCFS because they finally sought help. Victims and survivors of domestic violence should not live in fear of losing their children only because they suffered abuse. These parents would greatly benefit from pre-petition advocacy services, legal services like the ones that we provide at our court clinics, but also social services, housing, and support so that their families stay together. For this reason, Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles strongly supports agenda item number 31. It is time to support families and reimagine child safety. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Sylvia Merrill King. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. My name is Sylvia Marroquin. I'm with the Coalition for the Right to Counsel. And I just want to give a general comment. So I just want to start by saying 0.028%. It's just a minuscule amount from the county's annual budget. And we're asking only for $10 million in a codified right to counsel. These will prevent so many people to ending on the street. We are having already so many represented with the State House LA and serving thousands of people. But we need more. We need action from the county Board of Supervisors. We're asking you to please give us the codified right to counsel. Many other cities already have these in place. LA cannot stay behind. Necesitamos el derecho a la representación legal en caso de desalojo para todos los angelinos en Los Ángeles. Pero nos conformamos por lo menos con el condado.
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Alexander Harnden. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Alexander Harnden with the Inner City Law Center. Just speaking for general public comment. And we're calling for the board to codify a right to counsel for tenants facing eviction in unincorporated Los Angeles County and asking for $10 million in funding for that purpose. As mentioned, this is a minuscule, very, very small percentage of the annual budget, but could produce really meaningful results for vulnerable tenants. We know that we had a housing crisis that predates the pandemic, and the pandemic has made the eviction threat much more real for millions of tenants, and we asked for a right to counsel. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is David Diaz. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is David Diaz, Executive Director of Access SGV, and I'm calling today to support items 7 and 9 and public comment. I want to thank Supervisor Hilda Solis for authoring item 7, which allocates funding for the development of a future regional Puente Hills Park. This project has been in the works for decades, stemming from action for Supervisor Solis when she was in the State Senate in 1999. Residents in the region have suffered the impact of the landfill for too long, many whom are people of color, disadvantaged communities. Local residents deserve more open space and places to recreate outdoors in this area. On a related note, I'll support item 9, county's effort to address social determinants of health. Health environment is one of several determinants that affect people's health and well-being. Thank you again to Supervisor Solis, and I hope that the board fully supports both of for motion. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Dr. Lorenzo Gonzalez. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lorenzo Antonio Gonzalez, the National President of CIR SCIU, and I speak here today for Agenda Item 9 and public comment. To be frank, social determinants of health and valuing your safety net care providers go hand in hand. So it is time for Los Angeles County to respect us, protect us, and pay us fairly. This means housing security for our members that vow to protect Los Angeles County's most vulnerable. This means increased educational opportunities to compete and stay at par with non-county Los Angeles regional health systems. This means valued mental wellness and increasing affordability and access to therapy. I speak today because this contract negotiation with LA County matters. The oath you took, the one we all took to serve and protect the citizens of Los Angeles starts here with health. It starts by recruiting and retaining the doctors who said yes to Los Angeles County, to foster the diversity and inclusive policies that will usher the next generation of doctors from South LA to East LA and all those who dream to be the vanguards of their community. It is important to note that this negotiation is far more than financial, and we will not allow the political determinants of health to impact our patient population. This is the time for partnership, and let us end these tactical strategies to create winners and losers. It must stop, for our commitment to our patients is unwavering. We will move mountains for our patients. We will stand tall against any pandemic for our patients. We will do what needs to be done for our patients. This is what rectifying social determinants of health looks like. So Board of Supervisors, CIR asks of you, respect us, protect us, and pay us fairly. We will see you at the negotiation table. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
There are no other speakers in queue to address the board.
Thank you very much. It has come to our attention that we are having some technical difficulties. The public who is participating and viewing today's board meeting online are having no audio issues, and people who are viewing it on television are. And so we are going to take a brief recess to allow folks to address that technical challenge, because we do have a second public comment session, and we want to make sure that everyone has access and can hear all the proceedings equally. So we're going to take a brief recess to attempt to address that technical issue. Also, our public comment period for the full 90 minutes is open until 11:10. And so after we take our brief recess, if there are additional callers, please hit 10 and you'll be added to the queue. Thank you.
Everybody wants to know.
Testing. Good afternoon. You get confirmation? Greg, testing.
Good afternoon. Functioning.
This is the AT&T operator. Just want to confirm that we can hear you loud and clear.
Testing, testing, testing.
My mother, if she was all out, she had a watch. Mom would have done that.
Test, test, test. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Here. Not getting there. Testing, testing. 1, 2. Guys are on?
What? I specifically. Still in regular public comment. Moderator?
Thank you.
We have the next speaker, please.
Yes. Our next participant is Manoush Kandel. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, supervisors. I am speaking on item 31 and general public comment. My name is Manoush Kandel, and I'm an attorney with the ACLU of Southern California and our LGBTQ, Gender, and Reproductive Justice team, and I'm a member of the Reimagine Child Safety Coalition. Family regulation, also known as the child welfare system, is a reproductive justice issue. Reproductive justice includes being able to control if, when, and how we become parents, and to be able to parent the children we have in safety and dignity. Yet far too often, the family regulation system improperly separates children from their parents, with a particularly racist impact on Black and Indigenous mothers. In a county where 58% of Black children will be subject to a child welfare investigation before they turn 18, we must take action to shrink the pipeline of families being fed to the child welfare system and invest in true prevention and support for families that need it. In November, the Reimagine Child Safety Coalition submitted a series of 11 demands to the board, and we want to thank Supervisor Hahn for sponsoring the first motion to address any of these demands, this one providing a free attorney to parents at the very start of a child welfare investigation. Providing attorneys to parents at the start of an investigation ensures they know their rights. When attorneys partner with social workers and parent advocates, this interdisciplinary team can help identify and address the issues that may have led to the family's contact with the system, such as housing, domestic violence, healthcare, or government benefits. The pre-petition interdisciplinary model has shown great promise in jurisdictions outside and inside California. And while we applaud this initial step to reimagining child safety, it is not enough. We ask the board to move forward on all of the demands our coalition has put forward to address some of DCFS's most inequitable policies and to implement proven strategies that can keep children safe while simultaneously preventing families from being ripped apart. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is David Noble. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is David Noble. I'm a policy associate at the Alliance for Children's Rights. I'm speaking on item 31 about advancing a pre-petition advocacy model in the county. I want to thank Supervisor Hahn for putting this motion forward. Under current practice, parents often don't meet with their court-appointed lawyers until minutes before their hearing, which means they have very limited time to consult with their advocates to prevent their child's removal. Within a pre-petition model, an multidisciplinary team of attorneys, social workers, and parent advocates work together to ensure parents understand the allegations against them and what to expect as the process unfolds. And this team can also protect parents' due process rights, as well as identifying and addressing the issues that led to the family's contact with the system. The Department of Children and Family Services has committed to reducing the number of Black, Indigenous, and Latino children who enter the system, and guaranteeing pre-petition representation is critical to keeping those families together. So I hope the supervisors will support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Veronica Rosales. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Veronica Rosales, SEIU 721 member, and I'm here to speak in favor of item 79H and public comment. I want to thank Supervisor Hahn for introducing this motion and allowing county employees to organize without interference of retaliation from the employer. I serve as a substance use disorder counselor at an organized clinic that holds a contract with Los Angeles County Health Rights 360. Our initial efforts to make our voices heard face these same challenges, and we're subject to retaliation, intimidation, and surveillance to our bargaining unit as well as our organizers. We hope, after several months of organizing, we finally were granted recognition and have union representation since 2019. We hope that this motion also speaks to current and future contracted employers such as Health Rights 360, as union representation is imperative to not only the employees, but the families of the employees and the communities we serve. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is David Green. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Supervisors. My name is David Green, and I'm the President for SEIU Local 721, here to speak on item 79H and public comment. First, I'd like to thank Supervisor Janice Hahn for introducing item 79H, which reaffirms a county employee's right to organize and participate in union activities without the fear of retaliation or discipline. The right to organize has continuously been under attack. In more recent years, anti-worker organizations like the Freedom Foundations are more frequently attempting to challenge these rights, and LA County is not exempt from these threats to worker solidarity. We hope that with this motion, it sends a clear message to all county departments and employers that the voices of our workforce will be protected and uplifted in a time where we're shifting to the county model that encourages a care-first approach. On Monday, March 9th, while the world celebrated Nurses Week, our nurses entered into intensive bargaining with LA County. Every night since, they've negotiated late into the night and early morning for a fair contract that once and for all addresses the crisis of staff recruitment and staff retention. In 2018, our nurses tried to raise this issue, and the county's response were Band-Aids. That lack of investment was exposed during the pandemic, and the community and our members suffered. County negotiators have repeatedly told our nurses that they cannot address these requests in this cycle. Our nurses stand strongly united. This is the cycle to start fixing this problem. The county stands to lose nurses like Sandra Beltran, who's from Somar and proudly works at the Olive View Medical Center, and nurses like Denise Wilson, who as an immigrant from Belize with very little options, sought services at Herbert Humphreys Comprehensive Health Center. Today, she's a proud LA County nurse at that same facility. The community deserves to get high-quality care from nurses they recognize, not from expensive, out-of-state travelers. This is the cycle to honor our heroic nurses. This boils down to an issue of respect for our nurses. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Anthony Arenas. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to reiterate, I'm speaking on general public comment, and I just want to continue the demand for a care-first vision in our upcoming LA budget. The LA County budget was introduced in a manner that's unfriendly to community participation. Budget hearings, allegedly open to the public, were never announced to the public and remain difficult to access. Community input has to be a top priority as the county works through how to spend our tax dollars. The board stated that it is committed to realize the Care First vision for the county. The proposed 2022 to 2023 budget does not reflect the commitment to Care First. In fact, the county intends to increase the Sheriff's Department budget and notably the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department personal budget. The county proposes a $6.2 billion allotment for law and justice offices, with more than half of this funding being used for LASD and the probation department. The county is spending so much money jailing our community. Over 60% of LA.
Our next participant is Catherine Mitchell. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Catherine Mitchell. I'm speaking on agenda item 31 and general public comment. I am an attorney with Los Angeles Dependency Lawyers and a member of the Reimagine Child Safety Coalition. I am also a resident of Supervisor Solis's district. A lot of my colleagues have already highlighted the importance of pre-petition counsel. As the attorney that represents this parent, I can confidently say that intervention from pre-petition counsel could prevent hundreds, perhaps thousands of removals. Given that children in our county are disproportionately removed for neglect, these conditions can be ameliorated with early intervention, especially housing, mental health care, substance abuse care, and most importantly, knowledge. Parents do not have the knowledge to appropriately fight their case, and I can confidently state that as someone who is present in children's court every day. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Cindy Soto. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you. I will address number 11, 30, and general public comment. Good morning. My name is Cindy Soto. I live in Long Beach, and I chair the Personal Assistance Service Council Governing Board. I am item number 11. I am pleased that you will be looking into the gaps in services for our seniors. One such gap is the IHSS provider shortage crisis. We have a lack of appropriate funding for our IHSS registry services. The need for IHSS services far outweigh our capacity to meet the needs of our growing senior population. Item number 3, I also receive IHSS services, and I would like to thank Supervisors Hahn and Solis for this agenda item. I urge you to support this item to restore funding for public authority, consumer advisory committees, and governing board. It is important, it is imperative that consumer input in IHSS services be supported so that IHSS consumers can help solve such issues as the current provider shortage crisis, high turnover of IHSS providers, need for emergency backup services, and other important issues. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Kathy Beauregard. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Beauregard. I wanted to address general public comment. I wanted to talk about Harbor UCLA in Torrance and the medical attention that you get. There's a problem there, and it needs your immediate intervention. A person shouldn't have to wait 6 months to a year to get into the pain clinic for a shot, to relieve the pain when you're at pain level 9-10, only to be told that your appointment is canceled indefinitely because there's a shortage of the contrast. Also,
It's taken over a year for me to be re-diagnosed with carpal tunnel and spine issues, and I'm still in the queue to wait indefinitely for carpal tunnel surgery. In the meantime, my condition has gotten worse, and I'm about to lose my job because I type for a living. So the system is broken, and we need your immediate help.
Please read. Time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Charlie Klenakis. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and with your address on general public comment, you may begin.
Good morning. My name is Charlie Klenakis, Mayor of the City of La Puente. I'm calling today to support item 7 and public comment. I want to thank Supervisor Hilda Solis for authoring item 7, which allocates funding for the development of the future regional Puente Hills Park. This project has spanned decades, and our communities have suffered the impacts of the landfill for too long. La Puente residents and our neighbors deserve more open space and places to recreate outdoors. Thank you again, Supervisor Solis, and I hope that the board fully supports this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Brenda Villanueva. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and with your address on general public comment, you may begin.
Hi, yes, I am speaking on item 8 and general comment. Hi, my name is Brenda Villanueva, and I am with the Los Angeles LGBT Center, and I am calling today to commend and thank and also state my support of Supervisor Solis and Kyo's motion for the Los Angeles County to support the governor's effort to enshrine the right to privacy, particularly the right to an abortion, the right to same-sex marriage, and the right to contraception in the California Constitution. All these fundamental rights are under threat by the Supreme Court, and we know that Los Angeles County will stand strong with the LGBT community to ensure that we do everything possible to safeguard the right to marry who you love, because frankly, that is what is at stake. I urge the board to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Jamie Cusick. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and with your address on general public comment, you may begin.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm a constituent of District 3, and I'm speaking on the budget and general public comment. Once again, LA County's budget was introduced in a manner that is unfriendly to community participation. Budget hearings allegedly open to the public were never announced to the public and remain difficult to access. Community input should be a top priority as the county works through how to spend our tax dollars. $3.4 billion to the LA Sheriff's Department is not care first. $3.4 billion to the Sheriff's Department and $218 million for affordable housing and homelessness. What does this comparison say about the county's priorities? $4.4 billion to the Sheriff and Probation Departments and $1.8 billion for the Department of Public Health. Care First is about investing in health care and affordable housing. Yet the county seems to believe that it is still moving towards a Care First vision by continuing to underinvest in critical county departments and pour billions into county departments rife with financial irresponsibility, a sheriff's department filled with violent and murderous gangs, and a probation department not suited for the approached alternatives to incarceration. I also just want to say that the incredibly difficult way that constituents are able to leave public comment in this meeting is active repression and silencing of citizens' voices. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
As a reminder, to address the board, please press 1 then 0 at this time if you have not already done so. Do not press 1 then 0 a second time or you'll be removed from the queue.
Thank you. We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio para dirigirse a las supervisoras, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione 1 y luego el 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y 0 por segunda vez, porque será eliminado de la línea.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers in queue to address the board. Pardon me, we do have people who have just signaled that they wish to speak. Our next participant is Sharon Balmer Cartagena. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, Sharon Cartagena, Directing Attorney of the Children's Rights Project of Public Counsel, and speaking on item 31 and providing general public comment. I'd like to first thank Supervisor Hahn for your leadership on this issue. Our written public comment cites research that shows that pre-petition advocacy projects work. And I know this from the data, but I also know it from on-the-ground experience representing parents in Los Angeles. Earlier this year, I represented a former foster youth in a DCFS investigation. My client was a survivor of domestic violence, and when her former partner came to her home in violation of an existing criminal protective order, she called the police to enforce that order. And unfortunately, the police called DCFS. At first, the DCFS worker really struggled to get in touch with my client. He didn't understand why her gate was always locked when he came by unannounced. And when the worker finally got in touch with her, he didn't have important background information, like that there was already a restraining order in place in an ongoing criminal case. And my client, impacted by the recent violence and the stress of the investigation, struggled to provide that information in a clear and linear way. My office, though, was able to provide that history. We were able to explain that there was already a restraining order, and we were able to advocate for a female DCFS worker to conduct the home visit, given the case history. We were able to help our client file for custody orders to supplement the restraining order, and to explain to the worker that DV classes, while valuable, were not the family most needed. Instead, we drafted an individualized safety plan for our client. We connected our client to the DA victim advocate to enforce the existing restraining order, and we accessed funds from another nonprofit to help the client move to an apartment that still met her needs, but was not a walkable distance from her batterer's work. This is what pre-petition advocacy looks like in LA, meeting a family's specific needs so that they can stay safe and stay together. I urge you to vote yes on item 31 to bring these services to more families in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Harolyn Rue. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Independent living item 31. I am an independent living disabled person since 1983, and my health has gone up and has gone down. Right now, I'm in need of a double incision spinal surgery, and because of that, Pasadena Housing suspended my contract with them and gave me the Union Station, and Union Station just can't seem to find me a place of residence so that I can go and have my double incision surgery and come back home and heal. And I need help by a social worker to have them to help me find a unit so I can go have my surgery and come back home and heal. And I don't further extend the way that Pasadena Housing Authority took away my voucher because the inspector didn't think that I was keeping my apartment neat. Well, I had to pack. How am I going to have a neat apartment?
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Cynthia Carrasco. Please state the regular agenda item you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Cynthia Carrasco, and I'm a resident of the 3rd District, and I have the privilege of serving as staff attorney at Rainbow Services, which is housed in the 4th District. However, all the work that we do encompasses more than LA County, and I'm here to address items number 27 and item number 31, as well as make a general comment. Regarding item number 27, stabilizing support and programs, I am an attorney, and as much as I want to make a legal argument for this item number, I am coming at this with an economic perspective. The interests of our community and the needs of our community are not being thoroughly met. And with the rising inflation that we are facing and the increase of community needs in terms of domestic violence survivors and victims who need assistance, I ask that the entire leadership dais consider the importance of stabilizing funding and support for survivors of intimate partner violence and domestic violence. Individuals like myself who work within nonprofits who are faced with this on a daily basis are dependent upon the absolute unequivocal support of our county leaders, our city and state leaders, to make sure that we address these needs. Given the ongoing pandemic, and again, I utter these really important words, the economics are changing. That does not mean that we are unable to meet their needs. We can and we shall, but we need to make sure that we are underwriting it properly. Related to item 31, I again come at this from a legal perspective, but in essence, I want to make it very simple. The establishment of advancing a countywide pre-petition advocacy model is a best practice. I have had experience in that in the 15 years that I've done this honorable work. However, I look at this more in terms of economics and due process. By solidifying this proposition and allowing for there to be a concrete approach to due process and the full understanding of those rights and those obligations, each family that touches the system and navigates the system will have a more equitable outcome. My concern is that we are continuously disproportionately affecting families of color and families of various socioeconomic backgrounds with an unfair outcome because we are violating their due process right. Therefore, at the heart of this advancement of a countywide pre-petition advocacy model is the basic codified principle that we shall honor their needs and their rights, and those individual professionals who are surrounding these families as they navigate this very tumultuous time shall be served as they deserve. Again, I'm a public interest lawyer. I've been that since law school, and my utmost concern for anybody out there who is suffering through these very tumultuous experiences is that they have enough information to navigate and protect themselves and protect those that they love.
Excuse me. Time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers in queue to address the board.
Thank you very much to the members of the public, and thank you for your patience as we navigated our way through that technical challenge with our cable TV viewers. Our time for public speakers has ended. And thank you to all that called in to speak. If you were unable to provide your comments, you may submit written comments as indicated on the agenda. We'll continue to accept all written comments. Test, test. Can you hear me?
We can, Madam Chair.
My mic was on. Okay. So as I was saying, for those who already heard me, thank you for calling in and providing your comments. You may submit written comments as indicated on the agenda. We'll continue to accept all written comments that come in during the meeting. This will become part of the official record. We're going to transition to specials on the agenda.